other than astral in the ghost form and flying around at night. But it's an interesting form because you can go into things. If you're playing, and we would go up and play games, and we would hide in clouds. If we brought the game down to a forest, we could hide inside of trees, because that's what ghosts can do. Now the other form is astral, S-T-R-A-L, and it's a solid form. Now the ghost form is really nice because you can't be injured. Now the astral form, you can be injured. Now, sometimes, I don't know quite how to say this, because it sounds a bit outrageous. But I guess this whole video series is outrageous, so what does it matter? But a lot of my past lives, I was a warrior. And I was a Roman centurion and had a company of warriors that I led. I usually was on at least a sergeant or an officer within those within those time frames. But I was a Syrian, a Viking, lots of different cultures. Now, the idea of a warrior is you are, in most cultures, being a warrior, you have the opportunity to be upward mobile. Otherwise, as a peasant or as a tradesman, you're stuck there. And you aren't expected to be anything else but a shoemaker. But if you had land, you could be a farmer, and you had more rights in terms of access to the society, having your own land. It was a status thing. Now, with that warrior experience and my psychic abilities, I was asked by my guardian if I would be interested in fighting for the Galactic Federation of Light. Now, they had a volunteer group of retired warriors, so I wouldn't be in their regular army. And so I said, sure, I'd be interested in that. And I had a shield then. This is only about 10 or 12 years ago. I had a shield then, a personified warrior shield. And her name is Rogos. And she was all excited about that, and she was, I think, the instigator with Guardian requesting that, because she likes that kind of stuff. That's what she does. So we would go out on call in astral form, a solid form, with warrior gear. And I would pick up fighting implements at the site where we were going to defend. Now, what the Galactic Warrior Group defended were terraced pyramids. In the center of the pyramid was a beam of energy, very, very large beam of energy, maybe 200 or 300 yards across. So our terrace was round, at different levels, leading up to this galactic fountain of energy. Now these were prime power points in the galaxy, and they were under contention often. And so they would be attacked, and other groups would try and take them from the Galactic Federation. So we would go and defend them. Now in this group, we were all in astral, but we're all solid. And we were notified at the beginning of each, when we arrived, we had one commander. We're all telepathic, so we can easily move from one section of the circular ziggurat, is what it would be called, to where the battle was the most intense, and shift back and forth. Now, Rogos is a 5-layer commander shield, and the layer she liked the most was a mirrored kaleidoscope. So when you looked at us, you would see glittering vertical forms that would be constantly changing. Now the purpose of this, of course, is to reflect energy. If there were any energy bolts thrown at us, they would be reflected back to the sender. But the group that we battled the most were minions. And they were a large toad-like creature, a little bit larger than a St. Bernard dog, or a Great Dane, more of the size of a small pony. And they hopped rather than walked, and they had ferocious teeth. And they had some weapons, but not very many, because they depended on their mass group to overcome. So we would be fighting these people, or these beings, because they were really relatively mindless, but they had handlers off in the distance. This is an example of the out-of-body, how can I put it, forms. Now, RV, your soul doesn't go along. And of course, you can't be injured at all because you're just an energy. You can't be trapped. You can go into things and see what they see as a form of, I call it participation, or you can just be a standard observer. The astral people, of course, again, no soul, but your personality went along. And you couldn't be injured either. Now, in astral, your personality goes along. And there are two forms, one of which is the one I use, where my soul goes with me, and the other is a common form with lots of different people, but it's a cord, a very flexible, thin, flexible cord that's attached to your resting body, your corporal body, and your astral body. And your astral body, it's on your tailbone, and on your corporal body, it comes out of basically where your belly button is. Now, I have several friends that like to go out, and one of them is a galactic bounty hunter. And he goes to different planets and protects villages from an animal or a beast that is terrorizing them. And he goes and he has a cord. And the advantages of his cord is that if he gets heavily threatened, the cord will snap him back so he's not in danger anymore. Where when I would go out, if I'm being threatened, I'm pretty much on my own. Though I'm pretty good at shifting around through portals, so I don't worry about things. But it's through a portal is how I evolve my technique for going out of body.